beautiful souls. It's great to connect with you here. If you're new, welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy this video and find it helpful. If you're a returning tribe member, welcome back. I love you all. Thank you so much for your continued support. All right, lovelies, let's get into it. Hello, beautiful souls. Shin Dynasty here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're viewing this on YouTube, The Void by Shin Dynasty, that's me. If you're a returning tribe member and you're viewing this on Patreon, I love you. Thank you so much for supporting me and my creative process and my spiritual journey. And I hope that this content serves you well. Perhaps it may answer some of your questions, put your mind at ease, challenge you. That's always good too. So, if we are not challenged, we don't grow, right? So you will see me periodically looking down here. I have notes in front of me, so that's what I'm looking at. And I also have $1 million view out this side, so you'll see me looking out there from time to time as well. Beautiful people of the land. I know that there are a lot of people right now who are struggling, okay, and are seeing a lot of behaviors from society coming out, some of the worst, behaviors that we have as humans have to offer. Now, while all this is happening, we're all very challenged in the way that we decide to deal with this. And I want to speak to you all today about our internal environment and about forgiving the self and how important it is to first and foremost learn how to deal with ourselves, okay, before we even attempt to understand and communicate with, come to some kind of agreement with other people, okay? This is extremely important, especially right now, as, like I said before, the things that we're seeing and hearing are very extreme. Some of us who have been in, I've been in the spiritual game, if you want to call it that. I've been in the spiritual world for a while. None of this is really surprising. We've seen a lot of this happening. It's just been, kept under the rug. So we're seeing a lot of people now who are just now waking up to a lot of truths, a lot of really difficult truths that many of us within this community have been living with our entire lives. The burden of knowing, right? That can be a very heavy burden to carry sometimes. But as much as we may be tempted to harshly criticize, judge, condemn, to just pour fire all over everything around us because of our own anger, our own fear, the ways that we're being challenged on such a deep level. This is actually the time to examine ourselves, our own beliefs, our own challenges through the lens of love and compassion. So, a lot of people have come to me over the years, and then in other times it's just come up in conversation naturally. A lot of people have come to me about the process of forgiving others. And the process of forgiving others really begins with forgiving ourselves. Now, some of you may think, well, I'm okay with that. I mean, I've forgiven myself, you know. Sometimes we think that because on the surface it may seem that way. Just like if you were to ask a lot of people, hey, do you love yourself? A lot of people would be like, yeah, I totally love myself. I'm awesome, you know. But if you were to dig a little deeper past the surface, if you were to examine a lot of the decisions that that person is making, the environment that person is placing themselves in, you would come to understand that the self-love really isn't there, or it's at least not at the level that that person thinks, you know, cognitively that they're at. And it becomes very apparent that, oh, Houston, we have a problem here, right? So I want to challenge you to dig a little deeper and examine areas of your life where you may not be fully respecting your path, how you truly feel, who you are, what you're about, what you stand for, what you don't. This is a good time to take a really deep dive on these areas. And as we do this, we begin to uncover the level in which we truly do love ourselves and respect ourselves, right? Because that is reflected within the decisions that we make, the lifestyle that we live, okay? It's reflected in our jobs. It's reflected in all of our relationships. Everything we do, how we speak to one another, you know, our intentions, our thoughts, how we feel. So by examining ourselves at depth, we then uncover where we really are in that forgiveness and that self-love journey. Okay? One of the videos that I released on Patreon a while back was all about forgiveness and the importance of forgiving the self. Okay? So I'm going to touch on some of those things as well here. And in that video, I stress that forgiving yourself is really about accepting your humanity. It's really about accepting your journey. I don't know about you. When I was born, I didn't have the emerald tablets looking at me saying, yes, Shin Dynasty, this is exactly what you do. This is exactly how you do it. You know, you're going to face X, Y, and Z challenges, and this is exactly how you overcome them. And just stay on this path and keep doing, you know. I didn't receive those tablets. Nobody, no hand from the sky came down and delivered anything to me like that, okay? Our internal guidance system is our God guidance, and that is always with us. But, you know, as we grow, when we're raised, we have a lot of other opinions, ways of life that are pressed upon us, okay? So our internal guidance system gets buried over time. Now there's a very important reason that happens, because when we contract in to have an incarnation, especially here on this planet, Mother Gaia, we are agreeing to forget. We're agreeing to forget a lot of where we come from, a lot of details about our past incarnations. Some of you may believe in past incarnations, in the cycle of life, death, rebirth. And some of you may not, because of your personal experiences or your religious beliefs. And all are welcome here, okay? I personally absolutely 100% believe in reincarnation. life, death, rebirth cycles. Absolutely. My personal experience has taught me that is a truth. And also my studies have taught me that. Even examining nature, has taught me that energy is just recycled. That death is an illusion, death is just a transformation. Death is, it's like being born. It really is, A lot of people fear death, but honestly, you were born out of death. You're just returning back to where you came, okay? So that's another video. We'll get into that in more depth. Okay, so accepting your humanity is part of forgiving yourself. Many of us look at our lives and think, oh, we really screwed the pooch on that one, or if we just didn't fuck up those 15 times, we would be in a much better situation, But you know what? That's life. We come in here and we agree to forget. Why? Because we have to be challenged while we're here. We're here to learn. We're here to grow. Okay? You have not made any mistakes in your life. You've made decisions. Your decisions have been based upon how you felt at that time and what you were thinking. Your decisions have also been based upon your perception. Your perception is as individual as your fingerprint, because how you perceive information in your internal and external environment is a direct reflection of your own personal experiences. And even though you experience some of the same things that other people experience, you don't experience those things the same way. Okay? That means that the way you perceive things to be, the way you perceive yourself and others is super, super unique. Okay? The way you perceive information is no one else on the planet will perceive it precisely the way that you do. Like I said, it's as individual as your fingerprint. Okay? Every decision that you've made in your life has been attached directly to your thoughts and feelings at that time. So when you look back on your life and you say, oh my God, why the hell did I choose that path? Why did I make that decision? Well, if you're being honest with yourself about where you were mentally and emotionally at that time, that would answer your question completely. Okay? This is what it means to accept your humanity and to be able to forgive. Okay? Society trains us to just keep kicking ourselves in the ass for things that we do that weren't the best decision or wasn't the best road to travel down. We're taught to keep ourselves in a never-ending cycle of just shame and guilt. You wake up in the morning, let's get those 15 lashes in before we have our first cup of coffee. You know what I'm saying? And it's really a tool of control and manipulation. Because honestly, there's absolutely no reason and there's absolutely no value at all that comes with holding yourself in this fucked up low vibration of, I screwed up, I can't believe I did this and this and that, okay? As soon as you make a decision and you live that moment out and all of the moments that come after that, it's done. The past is never to be relived. Never like that. Never precisely like that again. It's over. And our past those moments don't exist anywhere, in any realm, in any way, shape, or form. We decide if we're going to keep our past alive or not. Okay? Our past, when reflecting upon our past, it is only for the sole purpose of gaining insight and knowledge, and that is it. It is definitely not for the purpose of reliving painful emotions. It is definitely not for the purpose of, well, if I don't keep raking myself over the coals for this, then I'm not going to learn not to ever do that again. No, you learn because that's natural. You have natural consequences. We all do for all of our actions, both positive and negative. What we perceive to be positive and negative, okay? So the learning's already there. The opportunity to learn is always present. You don't have to conjure that up, okay? The universe makes sure that we learn, okay? So that's not an excuse to live in the past, all right? Oftentimes when you find yourself in a cycle of revisiting the past over and over and over again, especially the times where you think you've messed up, okay? It's a warning flag. It's a signal coming to you saying, it's time to challenge your perception of what you think occurred here. It's time to challenge yourself, to dig deep. It's time to let go. All right? And it's been taught to us that healing the self and forgiving the self is a long, drawn-out process. God, it takes forever, and you need a team of 50 specialists, and you need a shaman, and you need a Reiki master, and you need the right crystals, and you need, the right candle magic. The stars have to be perfectly aligned. You have to be wearing the right color. And then maybe your healing will come. And that couldn't be further from the truth. It couldn't be further from the truth. There is absolutely nothing outside of you. There's nothing in your external environment that you need to be able to heal. You also don't need permission to let go of the past, to heal, to forgive yourself. All of that is within you. It's internal. It's internal. And it really is just a decision. I say that to people. People are like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's a decision. Oh yeah, it's that easy, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yep, it is. Yeah, it is. It's that easy. To let go of something means to accept. I accept this for what it is. I accept what happened. I accept the knowledge that I gained from this, that I extracted from this. It made me stronger. It made me wise. It strengthened my intuition. It taught me to trust in myself and never to give my power away to external people, entities, situations, whatnot. It taught me not to second guess myself. Okay? Our lessons in life are fucking gold. Super valuable. Teach us a lot about who we are and who we are becoming, who we want to be. Okay? And it teaches us a lot about others. Every lesson that we learn about other people is a lesson we learn about ourselves, because we're all connected. All right? So, forgiving the self is about accepting our humanity, about accepting that we come here to learn, and the only way that we learn is by being challenged. The way that we're challenged is by being put in crazy situations sometimes. A lot of us, especially us, we light workers, we're born into families with a lot of issues, a lot, because we're here to do a lot of clearing. Okay? And we're also here to help others. And you can't help somebody with something you don't know anything about. And correct me if I'm wrong, And if you try to correct me on this, I'm going to correct you. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the most important aspects of life, the most important aspects of healing, we don't learn that shit in a book, okay? We learn how to return to self and how to return to self-love through doing, through our own personal experience, okay? The reason that I can guide someone, take someone's hand who is in the 5th ring of hell, and bring them, guide them ever so gently back up to the surface of the earth and back to clarity and back to understanding and love and compassion, is because I've spent a lot of time in the 5th ring of hell myself, and I know the journey out, okay? Which many of us, this is how we learn. Baptized by fire, baby, right? Another important aspect of this is personal responsibility, okay? But not through the lens of harsh criticism and judgment. Personal responsibility through the lens of love and compassion. To be gentle with ourselves and say and understand that, yes, we take personal responsibility for all of our actions, our decisions, okay? There's a lot of victim mentality that is rearing its ugly head within our society today. It's always been here, but it's just really in our faces today, right? Everyone's a victim. Everyone's a victim of their upbringing. Everyone's a victim of society. Everyone's a victim of our politics, our governments. Everyone's a victim of everything, okay? Victim, victim, victim. Now, understanding that, yes, you've been victimized. Everyone has in one way or another. Some of us have been victimized in multiple ways, okay? You do have to acknowledge that, and you have to understand that, yes, there are a lot of things that are stacked against us for sure. We all suffer greatly in life, and because of our own soul contracts and the specific lessons that we're here to learn, we're going to go through different types of challenges and on different levels, okay? So if you're a person who has been victimized, which if you're living and breathing and watching this video, you probably have been, then acknowledging that is important. Acknowledging how you feel about that is important, okay? Hello, beautiful people. Okay, my apologies. I know it only looks like a little blip on your end, but I had some major technical difficulties, and this is actually 2 days later. So from my last clip. Okay, I left off speaking about the importance, when I look down again, notes. Speaking about the importance of acknowledging the ways in which you've been victimized, but also understanding very clearly soul contracts. Okay, this is kind of, and the reason that it's so important to understand and to really go deep on these topics is because through understanding, you're able to reach acceptance, okay? And once you understand and once you accept, then that's when the real healing begins, okay? That's when your mind and your emotional body and your physical body allow a deep healing, okay? So, soul contracts, let's talk about it. There are a lot of things, a lot of challenges that we go through here in which we have contracted into experience, okay? Someone may ask, why the fuck would I agree to or contract in to experience these horrible things? Well, your soul doesn't see them as horrible things. Your soul only sees them as experiences and sees each of your experiences as an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to learn, okay, and to progress the soul. We're constantly sending data to our higher selves. Our higher selves, that's us in the future, our future self, after we've gone through all of our incarnations. So our higher self is the higher aspect of us who already knows everything that we've been through and are going to go through, okay? So it's very important to create that bond between you here and the higher aspect of yourself, okay? Because it will, your higher self obviously will help you navigate your life, okay? And to help keep you on track and show you where to go, okay? When you're feeling lost, when you're unsure, uncertain, your higher self is a great, invaluable asset, okay? So, soul contracts. We contract in to experience a lot, but we also have free will, and so does everyone else. So there's a lot of trauma that a lot of us contract in to experience because of the wealth of knowledge, honestly, that we obtain from being challenged on a physical, mental, and emotional level, and on a spiritual level as well, okay? And there are some traumatic things that we experience because we change our own reality and we shift into a different timeline. Now, this is something that I'm going to go into more depth on another video, because we're going to speak more about the quantum structure, okay? We're going to speak about realities, vibrations, timelines, okay? But for now, we need to understand how soul contracts work, okay? Everyone who you come in contact with your life, everyone in your family, all of your friends, acquaintances, people that you run into, people that you've worked with, that you will work with, everyone, people that you see on television, me, you're watching this video right now, every single human being that, you also insects, plants, animals, everything in nature, Mother Earth herself, you have contracts with everyone that if you know the person exists, whether you meet them or see them in real life or on television through social media or whatever, you are contracted in with them, okay? And no matter if the meeting is that long or it's somebody that you're with for your entire life, all of these are contracts that you have. All of these people are playing a role within your soul contract. We have agreed, yes, I'm going to play a role in your life. You're going to see a video of me speaking about forgiving the self, soul contracts, the victim savior paradigm, and I'm going to help activate you. That's the only reason that you're seeing me and watching this right now, okay, is because we're contracted in. Now, let's talk about the free will aspect of this, because things get a little interesting because we don't have to, naturally, we don't have to fulfill our mission here. We don't have to stay on track, on course. A lot of people don't. And, but the thing is that even when we're not on course, we're still on course, okay? The reason for that being is that we're still fulfilling what we're here to do, which is to learn and progress, okay? So no matter if you're on target with your mission, if you came here with one, some people say everyone has a mission while they're here. Yes and no. Everyone's mission while they're here is to learn. So if we were to state it in that way, then yes, that would be the truth. Not everyone is on a mission to help humanity. Not everyone's on a mission to be an opposing force, to be destructive. We all have many, many different missions while we're here. And we're going to carry our missions out in whatever way we see fit, okay? So, here's the thing. When you have experiences and those experiences alter the way that you think and alter your emotionality, those experiences have then altered your vibration. Okay? And once your vibration is altered, whether it's raised or it's lowered, okay, the next thing that you will experience in your life will be on the same frequency from which you are now currently vibrating on. Okay? So you can kind of begin to see how deeply important it is for us to be able to bring ourselves back to center, be able to ground ourselves after we've experienced things that place us in a low vibration. Okay? After we experience pain, grief, sorrow, sadness, trauma. All right? This is why it's so important to learn how to heal ourselves. All right? Because when we experience these things, we're meant to learn and collect the data from the experience, and then we are meant to come back into our full power and to keep moving forward in life. But oftentimes, because we're not taught how to put ourselves back together and how to gain and extract the lesson and the power within that horrible experience, oftentimes people get trapped in that lower vibration and then end up calling in and manifesting and pulling in even more trauma, even more low vibrational experiences that person was not even contracted to have. But since now we're vibrating down here, every person, every experience that we are manifesting is now, it has to be a match to our vibration. Okay? So this is how, and this is why you'll notice that sometimes when people experience trauma, especially very young, that once that low vibration is set, you'll notice that it becomes a pattern, okay? That this person finds themselves in horrible situation after horrible situation, right? And it goes into adulthood and through adulthood unless, in some way they come across someone who, is able to give them knowledge that frees them, even though it's their decision whether they take that or not. Or they have some kind of epiphany. Sometimes that person's spirit team will intervene, okay? We'll talk more about that as well, because oftentimes the entities who are contracted in to help us along our journey cannot, physically intervene unless given permission, but we're going to cover all of that later on. So anyway, those are important aspects to know about your soul contract. Why is it important to know that? A lot of the things that you experience, you signed up to experience, because once again, it gives you an idea of what this is all about, okay? So you're not looking at your pain as just a waste, Oh, why the fuck did that happen to me? What a waste, and it ruined my life. No, you're supposed to experience that. The only thing that is left to do now is to extract the data, learn the lesson, receive the activation, and move forward. All right? And I know that when I say that, when I sequence that out, it's like, oh yeah, well, if only it were that easy, Shin Dynasty. And I know that it's not that easy. But the process is that technical, okay? It's just the application of that process gets a little wonky, because then we're fighting our own fucked up programming, okay? And I'm going to teach you a lot more about that too as we go. But right now I'm just touching on these things so you can start gaining a better understanding about how all of this works. And you can start to accept that everything in your life is very purposeful. And that's a very important thing to accept when you're healing, okay? Because when we're in this mind space of thinking that we've been wasting time, thinking that because we've experienced XYZ that we're broken, there's no hope, all of this is going against the very creation of life, the very meaning why we're here and why we've signed up for this, okay? So it's very important for you to know about, personal responsibility through the lens of love and compassion. It's very important for you to know that forgiving the self is where it all begins. It's very important for you to know that soul contracts are a real thing, okay? And that everything that you've experienced and will experience in this life is very, very purposeful. That you're gaining data in order to progress your soul, but you're also sending this data back to your soul family, okay? And everything that you experience, good, bad, everything in between, is helping to progress collective consciousness, all of humanity. Just you being here, contracting in and deciding, making the decision to contract into this experience helps everyone. I don't care what the hell has happened in your life. You are helping everyone by being here, okay? And you are teaching way more people than you even can fathom, all right? Because there are people who don't see you but feel you. There are people who don't, you don't have a verbal conversation with them about, your wisdom, your knowledge. But everyone who's tapping into collective consciousness receives your knowledge and your wisdom, okay? So you're a much bigger player in all of this than you've ever realized that you can even fathom at this point in time, okay? Life and existence is very circular, we are insignificant and significant at the same time. Our lives are just beyond important and mean nothing at the same time. It's all very contradictory in that way, but in a beautiful way that makes sense once you're able to connect all the dots. Again, we're gonna get into all of that. We're just scratching the surface right now. So, and I don't want to overwhelm anyone by just, here it all is. So I'm going to try to take you all through a journey in time, okay? Now, we're moving on, okay? We've covered the forgiveness of the self, personal responsibility, not through criticism and judgment, but through love and compassion, taking responsibility that we make decisions every second of every day. We are creating and manifesting our own lives. No one's doing that for us. No one's working against us, okay? If we're coming up against roadblocks, it's because we have internal roadblocks. And those roadblocks are being manifested in our external environment, okay? So taking responsibility is a step towards your freedom, all right? It's not meant to hold you in this pattern of, oh yeah, I'm always fucking up, I'm a piece of shit, that's why. No, it's not. That victim mentality will get you nowhere. We're going to talk about that right now. Okay, so the reason it's important to know more about the victim savior paradigm is because, like I touched on before, being victimized and then and categorizing yourself as a victim are two different things, okay? One of them allows you to get to the process of healing, because in order to heal, we have to acknowledge that we've been hurt, okay? So acknowledging our pain and suffering is a big deal. It's an important step on the journey of healing. Now, considering ourselves to be a victim is a complete mindset, and it's a lifestyle, okay? So it's way different from acknowledging that you've been victimized, okay? This is why I tell people over and over again, you have been victimized, you've been through a lot of shit, but you are no victim, Okay? Now, the victim paradigm. Now, we all know people, and if you're watching this, you have definitely played this role at some point in time in the course of your life. It's a very human, it's a very human mentality, and we all go through it. Okay, the important thing is to not stay there, and to be able to understand on a deeper level what it's about. Okay, so considering yourself to be a victim puts us in a very low vibration. It puts us in a state of hopelessness. People who spend a lot of time in the victim mentality often suffer from depression. It's the perception in which they look upon their past as everyone's against them. They've been dealt, a tough hand, so to speak, in life. They never had a chance to begin with. X, Y, and Z damaged them. You'll hear a lot of this language from people with a victim mentality. They're just damaged goods. They don't believe that they can heal from the things that they've been through, or only to a certain extent, but never to come back fully into their power. Oftentimes people who are stuck within a victim paradigm, they self-sabotage a lot. Everyone around them can see their gifts, their talents, their potential, but they seem not to be able to see it at all. It's a defense mechanism to not claim and not own your power, because when you own your power, you got to do something about it. You know what I'm saying? Once you own your power, then, you then take responsibility over your life and you action your existence, but from a victim mentality, you don't have to do that, because from your perspective in that mentality, everyone around you and everything around you is governing your life. It can be a very comfortable position to be in, to not take responsibility for yourself. So when I speak about these things, it's not from a place of criticism and judgment. I get it. Okay, I get it. It can be a real, even though it doesn't get you anywhere, and it's a very tough life, moving through life from a victim mentality. But at the same time, there is a very real comfort level with that. Okay, being able to blame everything on everyone else, your upbringing, your parents, your family, society, everybody, everything, government, everything. Okay, because it's tough to take responsibility for yourself. It's not an easy thing for a lot of people to do that. Okay, because it's not always comfortable what we have to see within ourselves and what we have to then deal with, and the ways in which we must change in order to move forward, in order to manifest the lives that we want. You know what I'm saying? So oftentimes when someone's in a victim mentality, you'll know that by just how their life is going at any given time, and you'll know that through their language, their language that they use. It's never because I made this decision, then this happened. It's, oh, this person made this decision, and that's why this happened to me. And then this and this, it's very apparent in a person's language. It's always going back to the thing and never the self, and that person, you'll notice, is constantly giving their power away to everything externally, and they are a victim of life. Okay, so it's very important to understand fully that mentality. Everyone slips into that mentality from time to time, especially when you've just been victimized. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the lens in which then you're viewing yourself and everyone else and the world, But like I said before, the important thing is to not stay there. The important thing is to understand that we're constantly calling in experiences, okay? This is why at any given time we have people who are safe, secure, well cared for, have everything that they need. We have people who are just suffering, just fucking devastated, okay? That's because we're always creating. We're always creating. And whatever frequency you're vibrating on is the world you're living in. And whatever vibration you've created for yourself, those are the people you're calling in. Those are the experiences you're calling in. This is why it's important, going back to the personal responsibility through love and compassion, okay, is understanding, my life is not what I want it to be right now, which means that my thoughts and my feelings are not in alignment with my desires. I have to fix this in order to pull myself out of this, in order to create another timeline, in order to have higher vibrational realities that are manifested in a higher vibrational plane, okay? And that's how we end up changing our lives. It's course correction, okay? But it all starts with understanding where we are, okay? So, now, on the same line, but on a different end, but we're talking about the same line here, comes in the Savior, okay? The Savior paradigm has a lot of the same characteristics as the victim's paradigm, okay? And I'm going to tell you why they're so similar, and why they are viewed as being so similar, even though for the person it seems like a completely different mentality. I want you to think about and ask yourself why someone would be so intensely kind of obsessed with saving people. Let me do that for you. Let me save you. Let me step in. These are the people who are constantly, they've run dry. Like, these people. They don't have anything to give anybody, but they're just reaching in to their their reserves. They're running on empty, but they're constantly just here, what do you need? What do you need? You need me to help you with that? You need me to listen to your problems at 3 o'clock in the morning? Do you need me? What do you need me to do? I'll do it, and then some. They're the people who run themselves ragged. They're the people with fucking stress brain. They can't even string a sentence together because their synapses are all fried, from not sleeping, not taking care of themselves. It's this, you'll notice a lot of super uber religious people are like this too. They're totally in the Savior paradigm, right? It's all about, I'm giving till the day that I die, because that's my entry to heaven type of ridiculousness, It's like, I think you're misinterpreting what was meant by the message here. You know what I'm saying? Because really the Savior mentality comes from a place of shame, guilt, and not good enough. Just like the victim mentality comes from a place of shame, guilt, and not good enough. Okay? When the reason a Savior is a Savior and chooses to be within that space and chooses to, always try to come in and pick people up all the time and just give everything of themselves, is because through those actions is how they feel valuable. And without those actions, they don't feel valuable, okay? They don't feel worthy. And that's a disconnect internally. We're going to call it exactly what it is, okay? You don't love yourself. You can't love yourself and exist within the Savior paradigm, okay? Because it's completely out of balance, all right? So this doesn't mean, and don't take this to the extreme, like, oh, well, I'm not supposed to help people. Don't be ignorant. Yes, of course you're supposed to help people, but you're supposed to do it in a balanced way, in a way that doesn't throw you out of orbit, okay? In a way that doesn't, where you don't end up having a stroke, okay? Or your health is completely, devastated because of you helping other people, okay? Also, the savior paradigm is a way that people avoid themselves, okay? Because if you keep yourself busy with everyone else's issues, then you no longer have to focus on or deal with you. All right? So it's also a way that people, it's a way of giving themselves the 15 lashes. You know what I'm saying? It's a way that people kind of re-traumatize themselves and continue abusing themselves, which goes back to a lack of value, a lack of self-worth, that sort of thing. Like I said, shame, guilt, not good enough, So these are people who are always constantly actioning in their lives ways that they can feel valuable, okay? And again, I'm going to stress this. This is often a mechanism for people to not have to go within and not do the work, the internal work, okay? It's utilized as a distraction. And because within our society, people who play the savior and are constantly jumping in and trying to be Superwoman or Superman and doing everything for every damn body, because that's a mentality that's propped up in society as, oh yes, this is good. This is what a good person looks like. It's more fuel to the fire. So oftentimes these people who are playing these roles don't even know that what they're doing is horrible, not only for themselves and their life path, but they're teaching everyone around them that this is okay to live completely out of balance, okay? Because someone within that paradigm does not love themselves. And from a person who's awake and looking at that person's actions and decisions, we know right away, like, oh, that's not good, there's a lot, going on there that's completely imbalanced, right? But to everyone else around them who are not awake, they're saying, oh yes, this person is wonderful and amazing, and look at their sacrifice, and look at this, and they're putting them up on a pedestal, which adds fuel to the fire. That person's like, yes, and then they keep going and keep going and keep going. And here's the other thing, is that oftentimes the victim savior paradigm, if you haven't figured it out already, merge, okay? Where people are playing both sides at the same damn time. So these are the people who are trying to be the savior for everyone around them. But on the flip side of that, they're constantly complaining. They're complaining about their lack of sleep, their health problems. They're complaining about every damn thing, okay? But they keep actioning as the savior, all right? So they've created their own prison, their own hell within these two paradigms, these two extremes. And the reason that this never turns out well and that this is completely unsustainable is because it's out of balance. You know what I'm saying? So that's something to think about as well, because whenever you come across a person, or if you are the person who is stuck within a victim or savior, usually both paradigms, this is where you need to action the self-forgiveness. This is where you really need to dig deep and look internally and ask yourself, why? Where are these feelings of unworthiness of low value. Where did this begin? Where is this coming from? You know? And also shadow work, and a lot of it is necessary. And I'm going to talk about that in another video. So, okay, well, I think I've covered enough for now for this video, because there are a lot of other videos that I want to start recording right now to get into. Thank you for hanging out with me for this amount of time. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to like this video and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, so do it. And it helps me, it helps my channel grow, and it helps with the algorithm too, so more people can see this content. If you're not a official Shin Dynasty tribe member yet on Patreon, that's an excellent resource for you if you are interested in more guidance along your ascension journey. I drop videos, audios, my personal artwork there way more often than you'll ever see me on the platform of YouTube. Basically for the reason that a lot of things get censored here. My throat chakra is very healthy. I curse a lot. YouTube algorithm doesn't like that very much. So, you know, I give myself to the platforms where I can be myself. So there's that. Anyway, lovely people of the land, thank you for joining me for another video. You will see me again very soon. Much love to you all. Bye. Alright, my loves, if you made it this far in the video, thank you for spending your precious time with me. If this message resonates with you, please give this video a thumbs up. It grabs the attention of the YouTube algorithm so that my videos get recommended to more people. Please share this video with your family and friends. This is a great way to spread the word and connect me with people you think will benefit from my knowledge and wisdom. I'd love to connect with you in the comment section. Please share your thoughts and questions with me, and just tell me how you're doing these days, okay? Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell for notifications. This is free to you, so if you'd like to support me and my spiritual and creative process, subscribing to my channel is the best way to show your appreciation. Also, I upload exclusive videos, extended videos, artwork, and book recommendations along with book PDFs to Patreon. I also post all videos you see here on YouTube to Patreon about a week or two in advance. So if you'd like to become a Shin Dynasty tribe member, you'll have exclusive access to content no one else can view. And once we reach the 200 patrons goal, I will be live streaming on Patreon and making myself available for one-on-one mentoring sessions only for my patrons. So that's pretty exciting. That concludes today's video. Thanks for spending time with me today. Sending you all much love. Shin Dynasty, signing out.